Okay. YouTube says it's going to stop all videos of conspiracy theorists. YouTube, of all the garbage that you allow on YouTube, millennial, egotistical, misogynist, xenophobic, all about me, selfie stick, self induced, delusional crap that you put on YouTube, you mean you want to come out here and really address conspiracy theorists? See, the one fact, and you're indicative of it, YouTube, and a lot of your mass media out here, you have a 24/7, 365 pathological, pervert, adolescent tweeting toddler, self righteous demigod, traitor, treasonous piece of scum, money laundering, racketeering, sexual assault, sexually obsessed with his own daughter, and you want to talk about conspiracy theorists? Really, YouTube? Really? What I think you need to do is come out of that rabbit hole of obscurity and polarization that you elude the truth. Pretty much like this Kremlin White House that you have in Washington, D.C., and Capitol Hill, and Congress, and Supreme Court. From the foundation of this country, you go back as far as Spain and England in this period garbage that you show on TV. You make terrorists and mongrels, incest inbreds, child molesters, pedophiles, sexual demons, sodomy, because they announce themselves as royalty, which in all intents and purposes, in actual reality, there's no such thing as royalty, because every man is created equal by their creator. No one's above anybody because your blood is the same. There wasn't 4 or 5 different Adam and Eve. There's only one. He said, I created man. He didn't say I created men. He said, I created man. And from that man, he said, I created woman. He didn't say women. He said woman. So the fact of the matter that you try to perpetrate this illusional disillusion facade myth that there's royal blood, there's no such lie. And there's no facts. There's no proof that any kind of royal blood exists. You're all descendants from Adam and Eve. Depending on the culture, depending on the demographics, depending on the area of the world that you're from, is the only change of your skin. Now it's funny how educated people, and I mean true educated people, that actually tried to learn something in the classroom, not fall asleep, actually can come to the conclusion anybody speaks truth, you call conspiracy theorists. Now, like this orange faced McDonald eating, adolescent tweeting, Trump mental case that you have in the White House and call president, he can lie. But tell me, YouTube, will you stop putting his videos out? Which you already know that 99% is nothing but pathological lies. But people who know the truth and address the truth and try to show the world truth, you call them conspiracy theorists. And that you're not going to make these videos or allow these videos anymore. So what does that say about YouTube? That you're selling out just like he did. You're allowing yourselves to be monitored. You allow yourselves to be enslaved. You allow yourselves to be engaged in this terrorist regime that you call a government. And this justice for all oligarchy of pathological, historic, racist, bigoted lies of sexist, pedophile, child molesting morons. Now, people normally don't like me to talk like this. They want me to talk gentle, happy, go lucky, everything's going to be fine. Just go ahead and enjoy life. And, that is not even real. Now, we can stick our heads in some sand, or we can stick our heads up our butts. Or stick our heads in a rabbit hole and just close yourself off from the world and pretending what's going around you doesn't exist. That's a fool. And I'm sure I'm going to get kickback from this, from the things I say. And YouTube might not even allow it to even be shown. But whatever the case may be, if you have generations and decades and centuries of the same delusional, political, corrupted, criminal, piracy, thieves, thugs, gangsters, barbarian, heathens, uncivilized garbage that pillages, rape, massacre, slaughter around the world, and you're fighting each other from rich mineral resource scraps that's left behind from the crown, Vatican, Rothschild, Illuminati, Masons, Morgans, and the other richest families in the world. That your mass media, news networks, never speak of these people as if they don't exist. But that's conspiracy theory. Right, YouTube? That's conspiracy. Anytime that you address the truth of anything in this country, like the Native American Indians, who, mind you, massacred, slaughtered, raped, genocide. You call that a conspiracy theory too? Although you have facts of their existence on your enslaved, poverty-stricken ghetto reservations, people who you stole the country from, and genocide, they don't even have the right to vote in their own country. Predicated by what? Terrorists, uncivilized, heartless criminals of theft and genocide. Spain and England open up their floodgates of immorality. And dumped it on the shores of America. And you call this civilization. Now, we talked about this subject redundantly. But the average person is, I won't even use the word stupid. Because first, to be stupid, you would first have to understand intelligence. Or been there at once and just forgot about it. And just polarize yourself from the reality of civilization and intelligence. Inept is a better word. And ignorant. Just like back in the 1600s and the 1500s, they didn't educate people. They kept people uninformed, uneducated on purpose. Because they didn't want you to know the level of corruption, the level of terrorism that was going on in the world. So the extreme wealthy kept you uninformed. Just like right now, they keep you uninformed. And as much as you have the internet, and as much as you have the ability to research, which a low percentage of people do, your heads is constantly in front of that idiot too. Believing you're going to hear the truth. Somehow believing these bureaucrats, capitalistic, fascist, Zionist, zealots of evil, satanic cults, satanic worshipers are going to reveal the truth. But those that do, we call them conspiracy theorists. Why do people constantly allow themselves to become victims of narcissistic egomaniacs, pompous, pious, extreme wealthy elitists? that the greater percentage of people you allow yourselves to be enslaved rather than fight. And I'm not talking about going out and physically fight, because that battle you'll never win. Only because of the military presence they have, especially in this country, that dumps more money in the military than any country in the world. And that's for a reason, to keep control. To keep people conformed, compliant. And how you use that word democracy so much. You use that word like people abuse the word I love you. It's only to manipulate, to deceive. Because you knew from the foundation of this country, there never was a thing such as democracy, and never will be. For a democracy to exist, average people gotta have a voice. Show me an average person in America that actually has a voice, that you actually listen to. And that's even on a local level. It don't even have to be government. On a local level, you're monitored on what you can say or do. So if it's like that on a smaller scale, what do you think it's like on a larger scale? And we can go around and around on this subject till the cows come home. So unless people really want to wake up, and I mean seriously with all my heart, they really want to wake up. They really want answers. And go above and beyond these predicated lies of conspiracy theorists. It's so easy to talk about conspiracy theorists. When you've been lied to for decades and centuries. When you're invaded by racist, bigoted liars, bureaucrats, oligarchy, plutocrats, every political scum of the earth. And you can sit here and tell people we're not going to show videos of conspiracy theorists. Won't you just come out and just say it, YouTube? We're just going to allow videos of liars, pathological liars, mental, ill, tweeting, traitorous, treasonous scum coming out of walls of the woodwork, political gangsters and thugs. We're going to perpetuate those videos and lies. This millennial garbage, selfie stick, all about me. We'll produce those videos. But anything that tells you the truth, anything that's going to free your mind from being subject to these historical, racist, bigoted, sexist, pathological liars, no, that we're going to stop. Why? It's like I said before, and I reiterate. The extreme wealthy does not want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know what's going on with the Vatican. They don't want you to know what's going on with the Illuminati. They don't want you to know that goes on with the crown, Rothschild family, Bilderbergs, Rockefellers, Gates. Because then you would truly expose your owners. Because as the disparity of the wealthy compared to that of the working class and poor, so are these people far removed from you. Now you listen to the media every day, and all they talk about is the same redundant, stupid crap every day that you wake up. They'll take one subject and just browbeat it like you're beating a dead dog. And since this Russian mafia goat, debt whore, money laundering, criminal piece of garbage got into the White House, that's all you heard about. Trump, 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 Trump. Nonstop, 24/7. You never heard of one president mentioned in the media as much as this man. And the reason why? Because they want you to be obsessed with it. They want to browbeat you with it. With all the hate mongering. Talk about his base versus your base. Satanic separatism. And nobody gets that. Even a while back, I got on that bandwagon. Everything I spoke about was like rednecks. Rednecks this, redneck. And that's pretty much what they want you to think like. It's either them or us. Predicated by the divide and conquer mentality. And this is what people you don't get. And every day you go to bed and you go to sleep. And you wake up the next day doing the same redundant mess that you do any other day. You don't pick up a book. You don't try to research the truth. Because now you got people like YouTube saying we're not even going to make videos about the truth anymore. We're only going to allow pathological, historical, racist, bigoted, sexist liars to be heard. And you think that's not turning into a dictatorship? And these monkeys in the Republican Party, Russian mafia, traitorous, treasonous scum, talking about just one president for life. Nobody gets this. You just don't. Just like you never get $9 trillion missing from the Federal Reserve. You'll say nothing about that. And another 500 million missing from the Red Cross. Media doesn't even talk about it anymore. But you get a young black man running down the street, cops shoot him in the back. That's different. See, this is the point that people don't get. This is the thing that drive me crazy. And it's not something that you can tell yourself, and pretty much this clown manipulated just like Christopher Columbus did, just like the Spanish conquistadors did with their slave ships and Spanish armadas. Just tell the colonists of exactly what they were. They were slaves. The part of the same culture you look at in society today that nobody really wants to address. Nobody wants to address the truth. It's a whole bunch of criminal mafia syndicates, illegal judicial cartels, and you call them Supreme Courts, call them federal courts, call them local courts. It's the means to an end. It's all about money. It astounds me. It just blows my mind that the level of ignorance and level of uninformed people, that you're so innately detached from reality that you can relate to such a scum as this man. Man just comes right out and just blatantly tells you, I'm going to shut down the government because I'm not getting my way. I want my wall. And I want $5 billion to build a wall. And I'm willing to stop people from working. I'm willing to stop giving the elderly and the poor resources that they need to live by. I don't care about that. Because that's how narcissistic, xenophobic, misogynist, egomaniac, mental case that I am. I don't care about humanity as long as I get what I want. But these are the things that people don't think about. A man who sits on a golden commode, who surrounds himself by gaudy golden images, indicative of who else? Vatican, the Illuminati, Rothschilds, the Crown. And it's astounding that average people, and you don't have to have a degree. In fact, you don't even need to have a high school education. It's just common sense to see what criminal filth this man is. You don't have to be smart. You don't. It's that plain. But I find myself in awe. And friends of mine, people tell me it doesn't matter because it's not going to change. How can it change? When people still sit in the same innate stupidity and ignorance. Yet being indoctrinated in the same mentality as they were generations, decades, and centuries ago. And yet in the 21st century, haven't learned a thing. Because you still allow the same things to exist. You allow the same criminals to exist. You allow the same paid to play, bribed on the payroll of criminal cartels and mafia syndicates, and you call it a DOJ. You call them attorney generals. See, this is the point. YouTube and all the other oligarchs and plutocrats and bureaucrats don't want you to hear. They don't want you to hear the truth. The truth scares them. That's why they come up with that phrase, conspiracy theorists. Because they just like this clown, fake news, fake this, fake that. Only I can fix it. What kind of delusional mess is that? I know as much as the generals. I've been some racketeer, real estate Mongol all my life, but you know as much as the generals. Even in those delusional mental ill statements, people should have gotten a hint of the way this government is headed. And in all intents and purposes, don't even call it a government, because it's not a true government. It's a terrorist regime government. And you sure ain't going to call a justice system a true justice system that allows the genocide of millions of people, along with the slaughter and massacre, pillaging and raping and stealing rich mineral resources. What justice system exists among that? That's my question. It's just a lot of things that I've said on my videos. You don't need a college education. In fact, you don't even need a high school education to understand it. It's that simple. It's common sense. The kind of stuff you're born with. And this is what we dismiss nowadays, common sense. We listen to the garbage on the TV. We listen to the garbage on the internet. We listen to the garbage, face chat and all this other stuff. And it's like, when truth comes, you're so misinformed and so mind-boggled and twisted that you don't know what the truth is. That's why this clown is president right now. You people been so twisted for generations and decades and centuries that anybody would come by with a different story, and you jump on that bandwagon. And you don't think your 1% owners don't understand that? Don't understand your inept ignorance? That you're not informed? That they want you to comply to the same old rhetoric they shove down your throats for decades and centuries? Why they tell people like YouTube, anything contrary to what we say, it's conspiracy theory. That's how you win. More lies. Lies upon lies. But only the oligarchs, the bureaucrats, plutocrats, aristocrats, we're the only ones telling the truth. Because we're the ones that got the money. We got the wealth. We got the power. And that certain sector of America and the world holds true to that lie. The pyramid scheme never trickled down. It always trickles up to the top. Why they call it a pyramid scheme. Never trickles down, always trickles up. And as much as I want to believe, as much as I want to have faith in humanity and the intelligence that they possess, I don't. Not anymore. Because as long as you allow people to lie to you, to manipulate and deceive you, anybody can put numbers out there. Anybody can tell a lie about the economy. Anybody can tell a lie about jobs. Fake graphics, fake moon landing, fake bombing of 9/11 Twin Towers. Anybody can do that. If you have the power and the resources and the right connections. And this is what the average person doesn't get. You think with your limited knowledge in your world. And what goes on in this world is so far beyond that. So far beyond that finite intellect of limited knowledge. It's like when it says, you wrestle not against flesh and blood. Spiritual wickedness. In high places. Hierarchy. World dominion. When you talk to certain people about that, it's like they can't believe it. But yet and still, these holy roller millennial evangelicals, Bible Belt, we're so wrapped up into one man. That's my point. And you can talk about conspiracy theory all you want. Conspiracy theory is just another question mark of why you deny the truth. You deny people from speaking the truth. You just want to hear lies. More of the same racist, bigoted, sexist, pathological liars of history, of the invasion of the Americas. Why no one will touch that subject. Just like I talked about the corruption in Greeley, corruption in Boulder. 9 News, Kyle Clark, Next News won't touch it. But they know it exists because they have multiple internet pages addressing it. They have a video on YouTube that addresses it. But you won't hear that word come out of their mouths at no time in their network news when they talk about events that goes on in Colorado. They will not talk about Colorado's corruption. They will not talk about the Black Road Gang cartels in Wells County, in Boulder County. They won't talk about that subject because they're paid not to. So you want to talk about conspiracy theorists, YouTube? The garbage that you put on YouTube, I wouldn't even address anything about conspiracy theory, my friend. It's the trash and garbage you can see on YouTube. It's not the best informative information you really want to know. And if anybody has any backbone anymore, which they don't, they just want to be followers. You don't understand what this video is about. And I ask you this much. How much? How much will it take to wake people up? How much will it take for you to actually see outside that confined box of conformity and compliance? How much? How much does it take just to uphold truth? And stop embracing and perpetuating pathological, historical, racist, bigoted lies by heathens and barbarians and mercenaries and assassins of white supremacy. Think about that for a moment.